Good morning, Sean Aquiline. It is time for the Revelstoke Mayor Report with Mayor Mark McKee. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Sean.
You almost said it, didn't you?
No, I thought about it, but no. I guess we should start off by talking about the little guy. It was actually kind of strange walking in and not having him attack me as soon as I walked into the door. And of course, I reached for my cookie that I bring down in the morning. I guess I don't need to bring that too. But, here's a little guy that really captured the hearts of the community. And I know that the whole community is feeling a little bit sadder these days. And everybody's missing him. And I know that you and your family are missing Milo as well. But anyways, I just want to say what a great companion. And, he's a tough little interviewer, and it was great to have around the station.
I will say this, the tragedy and the hurt that Kirsten and I are going through, the most overwhelming part was the children. It was the children. And having known just how much the dog meant to the kids, I didn't really realize that. Mm-hmm. I know kids like seeing dogs and they'd pet them. I really had no clue how much the dog meant to the kids. And for me, that is the positive thing that I gained out of something that was really sad.
Yeah.
So
anyways, he's going to be missed by everybody. So we're all feeling a little sorry and a little sympathetic, and we know what a big part, even for a little guy, he played around here and around the house.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, Sean. I got a couple of things that I want to throw out a few congratulations, and first one is to the Revelstoke Community Housing Society for their recent successful grant application. So the whole community is going to be benefiting from the Housing Society doing such a great job. They're going to be building an additional 21-unit affordable housing complex. So good on those guys and good for us. Also wanted to congratulate Stephen Huey on his retirement. I know they're having a celebration on Saturday, but here's a guy that's been a real big stalwart supporter of our community for 30 years, and that's outside of the store. Inside the store, he's served families like mine and yours and everybody else's, that helped them when you weren't feeling that great and you had medical issues. A great guy for the community, and of course, behind every great guy is an even better woman. And congratulations to Dorothy. Dorothy, you got to find Stephen a job or something. Like he's got to be a greeter somewhere, or we got to find him something to do. Like, don't get him painting the baseboards. I don't think that. Hire somebody that actually is going to do it properly. I don't see Stephen as a baseboard painter. It's that time of the year, minor baseball starting up, so I'll be throwing the first pitch on Monday night. Great to see ball season starting, especially now that we've just about got rid of all the snow. I was going to throw a little adjective in there, and spent some time at McDonald's for McHappy Days, and I hear that they raised almost $6,700 for Ronald McDonald House. So great to go down there, and great event, and thanks to Kevin and Kathy Blakely. One thing I did want to as well touch on is there seems to be a lot of confusion about what we're doing about cannabis, and I thought that I would just take a few seconds and explain it again. As long as the feds follow through and approve cannabis as a legal business and a commodity, there will be cannabis sales in Revelstoke. What we are doing currently is we don't want a gold rush mentality that when it becomes legal, that we could end up overnight with 10 stores or whatever, because it's a legal business, and then there's areas that are zoned for selling retail products that are legal. So what we're doing in the short term is we are stopping any cannabis sales in all zones while we listen to the public, get feedback from the province and the feds on what the rules and regulations are. We are going to bring our own criteria in, and it'll be, and I talked about it here before, it could be things like 100 meters from a school, 100 meters from a playground, next to a liquor establishment. I don't know what those rules are going to be, but we are doing a zoning amendment to stop cannabis sales in all zones. There's going to be a public hearing set up for that. Then when we listen to the public and we get the other information, we will then do a zoning amendment again to allow cannabis sales with the following criteria that we gather through the public meetings, hearings, and from what comes from the province and the feds. I just want to be clear. The shutting down of cannabis sales is only a short term while we get more information and implement it into the community with what we feel the community would find acceptable. There will be, as long as the feds approve it, there will be cannabis sales in Revelstoke.
I do know there are a few people that are interested in getting that license and also acquiring the ability to sell it here, and they're trying to get their paperwork in order for when that comes. And I told one individual, I think it might be a little tricky to get that accomplished when the city hasn't even figured that out themselves.
Well, plus, because there's so many people that are inquiring and businesses, we aren't even accepting applications until we get that criteria set into place. So you can think about it all you want, because there's hundreds of other people just like you that are thinking about it. Just for the record, I am not in the business, not going into the business, have no desire to be in the business, going to stay away from it like the plague.
I have a question for you, good sir. Where are we at with the CSRD fire issue? Because that is coming up in less than 30 days in terms of the contract, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
There have been meetings, and we are getting closer and closer to an arrangement. I have no doubt in my mind that we will have an arrangement. There's going to be a request that'll be coming to council on that fire services agreement. I know there's going to be more information coming out to the public, hopefully sooner than later. It's still in negotiations. We're still working on a plan to get that agreement signed off, knowing that, one, the city of Revelstoke is the best provider of that service, the cheapest provider as well. So we have two parties that are ready, willing, and able, and for whatever the reason is, we just can't get right down to the final nitty-gritty details that see this agreement signed off and moving forward. I have all the confidence in the world that it will, and hopefully it's going to be sooner than later.
I could ask you about development permits, but we already know where that's at. Did you, last week you had said, or the week before you had said that you'd kind of shortlisted a potential employee. Is that a shorter list now or a training point? Where are we at?
That's sitting with staff who are we want people building houses and whatever else that they want to build. There is an approval process that you have to go through, and one of the steps of those is having a building inspector, and we increased the budget to add a second building inspector. Unfortunately, we don't have any building inspector right now. We were using part-time the building inspector from Sycamoose. We've advertised a few times, and we're reaching out to on different ways of solving this issue. But right now, today, I'm going to be going to City Hall shortly here to get an update. But right now, I'm not confident that we have a building inspector in the immediate future.
Through some friends and family, I'm to the understanding that these types of jobs are popping up all over the place, with some with higher pay and certain education levels that are required, and it is there's a lot of options to choose where to go. And not that we're not a destination place to be, but people in that world, they might choose to be somewhere else, and it's a lot harder to find someone with those expertise than one would think. At least that's what I've found from my cousin who works in the world. Yeah,
and this is not just a building inspector problem. It's a problem with all kinds of skilled labor that this community is looking for. Different businesses are looking for different types of people, and we've been advertising for a few months now for a building inspector. But of course, 3 months ago, I think most people here know what the rental market and the real estate market has been like. It's eased up a little bit right now, so it actually looks better. But for those people that were looking at moving here for any job 3 or 4 months ago, it's a difficult community to move into in the wintertime. It's an expensive community, and that's probably the real bonus about this new affordable housing project, is that it's going to ease a little bit of pressure in a pretty pressurized market. But I don't know what the short answer is for the building inspector, but it's to the point now where we have to and should be looking at any option to get that position filled, because people's houses and businesses and their livelihoods are relying on it. Don't think for a second that council and staff are not well aware of the problem and are extremely concerned.
And one other thing that we should probably mention for those that don't know is that Brett and Scott sold Bresco.
Yes.
So that does change things in terms of who's managing it, because now it's
Waste management. Yeah.
So if there's any scheduling changes or whatever may or may not come, we got to go through that route. Is there going to be a relationship with the city with them in order to maintain the same schedule, or do we not know exactly?
Well,
yet?
I'm under the impression that in the short term, nothing is going to change. It's going to be operated exactly the way that they've been doing. And you know, there's two guys that really know what they're doing when it comes to things like that. So, you know, it would be wise on Waste Management to just come in, see how the land lies and see how it looks. And then I think that's what they're going to be doing. But because they're providing services to the community, I would say that any changes are going to be well advertised and brought in
accordingly.
So, then people will know exactly what's going on. You know, Waste Management is a huge company, and you know, they have systems all over the place, and I don't know how many employees they've got, but you know, it's thousands and thousands of them. We're going from a couple of guys that do a really good job to a company that is known for doing a good job. I think that this is going to be a good fit.
All right, you're off the hook.
Thanks, Sean.